Hi, I am Emily Johnson, and here's my building professional capacity in ourselves first, then others. Like I said, I'm Emily Johnson. I have a bachelor's of science in elementary education with an emphasis in ESL from Kansas State University. 4 years of my teaching has been in a parochial school in Topeka. The last 2 years, I had transferred into a public school in Topeka. For 5 of those years, I taught second grade. And for 1 year, my last year, I taught a STEM specials program in the grade bands of K through 3. So that program is called Project Lead the Way. I work for USD 345 Siemens Schools, and they've adopted this Project Lead the Way STEM program. And in this position, I actually travel to 3 different schools within the district, and I teach those K through 3 grade band classes on the principles of science, technology, engineering, and math. So students will come to me. I have about 21 classes. They'll come to me once a week for 50 minutes, so I get a lot of students during the week. About me personally, I'm married to my husband Mark for 3.5 years now, and we have a 2-year-old daughter. Her name's Maisie, and a 4-month-old daughter. Her name's Millie. I'm originally from Hayes, but I currently live in Silver Lake, and that's where my husband coaches and teaches. And so I love to go to all of his coaching activities. I like to cook and bake, travel, but just play with my daughters, and I love to do anything that's creative. So that could be a variety of different things. I love teaching all of the subjects, but I especially love teaching science and engineering, and then I like to splash in some art because I like to do art as well. So my capacity to collaboratively develop schools' professional capacity. So the characteristics that I identified in research, I kind of took the 3 categories from Grissom of instruction, people, and organization, and then I kind of threw in collaboration as well. So instruction is just kind of an all-around developing and supporting teachers for student learning. So my strengths in that is that I'm able to help others achieve high standards and look for high standards within myself. But my weakness is that I'm not good at looking at other people's shortcomings or their improvements. I'm not a very critical person of other people, and so that is something that I would have to work on. The second category is people, so creating positive working environments by building and maintaining relationships, having good communication skills, being caring, the capacity to build trust within the school community. So my strengths then there is that I get along with most people and I value people to build trust with them. But my weaknesses is that I'm not a very good communicator, and I don't do well with necessary confrontation because I'm very much of a people pleaser. So anytime I need to have confrontation, I'm not very good at it. So third category is organization. So effectively allocating resources such as time, staff, materials, and construct appropriate organizational policies and systems, but also the use of data and strategic thinking. So my strengths are I am a very organized person, and I like everything to have a system and a meaning, and I'm very thorough and detail oriented. But my weakness to kind of go with that is that I get overwhelmed with all the long to-dos, and I'm not very good at delegating them. So I would take all of that on myself and just not be able to kind of see strengths in other people to help me out with those long to-dos. And then my fourth one that I added in from Regional Educational Laboratory was collaboration. So creating a climate of cooperation and collaboration, shared responsibility and safety, and then cultivating that leadership within others, not just having a title of leadership, so that school staff embrace their roles in realizing the leader's vision. So my strengths are working with others on common visions and goals, but my weaknesses would be wanting to do everything myself so that they are done right or to my standards, which kind of goes with the same weakness that I have for organization. So leadership capacities, I kind of narrowed it down to just positive influence, but I liked these two quotes from Baldanza and Lambert of effective educational leaders develop the professional capacity and practice of school personnel to promote each student's academic success and well-being. So we're always doing it for the students. It's all about student success. That's ultimately going to want to be our outcomes. Again, and going back to that positive influence, not just through teachers, but also positive influence for students. And then the concept of leadership capacity is regards to school improvement and professional learning communities and the correlation of these adult learning factors to student achievement. Leadership is understood as reciprocal, purposeful learning in community settings. So it's just about building the best community with positive influence for teachers and for students. So the school's professional capacity to recruit, select, and hire staff. So I really liked this kind of list of things to go through. So creating a pool of candidates from various sources. Don't just rely on one source. Interview early and collaboratively. Be deliberate through the interview process, so making sure that it's the right fit for the candidate and for the school. But also, I had never heard of this format, the STAR format for interviewing, where you have to offer up a situation and a task, what was the action that you took, and then the result to really find those effective teachers. And then come to a decision making collaboratively. And I also thought this 3-2-1 strategy was pretty cool to kind of let them have their last impact on the interview process, and for something also for you to review and to also see what's their main points of what they want to get across to be a part of the school. So I loved this. A school's best resource is its people. So hiring strong teachers by looking at evidence for effective teachers and where they will best fit in teaching leads to higher growth within the school. And then collaborative professional culture. So engage with school staff to promote school improvement, teacher retention, and success and well-being of students and teachers. So school improvement, there was kind of a long-term and an immediate kind of list. So long-term is setting that example of self-development and the culture of a safe learning environment for staff and students, but immediately implementing it by developing that clear vision and that mission, and then through that redesign to implement teaching at a higher level with student engagement, assessment of learning, core curriculum content, and adult learning. And so all in all, just kind of improving the school. And then teacher retention can be a big issue nowadays for sure, but ways to kind of go around that is to make sure that we're going through good learning programs and listening to our teachers, communicating value to young and old teachers. And then a big one that I saw kind of hitting from a couple different resources were effective mentorship programs. So through mentor training, strategic mentor placement, and then allowing accurate time to collaborate, meet, and observe. Having those teachers, those first-year teachers or those young teachers, be kind of set up to succeed in your school is good on teacher retention. And then success and well-being of students and teachers. So promoting professional and personal health, providing leadership opportunities, ensuring work-life balances within your teachers, feeling of empowerment for teachers and safety and support for students, and then facilitating collaboration between teacher communities can help the whole community succeed. And then professional learning. So through professional learning and looking at professional development opportunities, I thought this was very interesting about adult learning. So adults need to be involved in the planning and evaluation of their learning, and they need to experience, including mistakes, provides the basis for the learning. Adults are most interested in learning subjects that have immediate relevance and impact on their job or personal life. And so so when you kind of break it down to reflection, cultural responsiveness, digital literacy, distributed leadership, those are all things we're interested in because they're what's being talked about in schools lately. So it's also problem-centered rather than content-oriented. So those are the things that we're constantly coming up to us as problems or things we need to address in schools. And so it's very driven professional learning. It allows us to reflect and think critically on our practice. And then through cultural responsiveness, we can bridge gaps for achievement and opportunity for all students. And then this distributed leadership is something that I thought was very interesting because, like I said, one of my weaknesses is not being able to do this. So it is only through the delegation of meaningful tasks that teachers develop their own leadership capabilities and ultimately contribute to school improvement. So in my thinking, I would be putting something on someone that they wouldn't necessarily do or what would be my job, but in actuality, we're empowering teachers to be better and kind of fine-tune those leadership capabilities that are ingrained in them. Okay, so my standard correlation is my assignment demonstrates the necessary knowledge and skills of school's professional capacity by identifying all areas that make a highly effective school through its staff and collaborative culture, professional learning, and systems of reflection and evaluation. It reflects on my strengths and weaknesses and characteristics of leadership that enhance school's professional capacity. And then relevancy. This assignment revealed that there are areas that I would need to rely on my trusted colleagues more. I would need to be an active member of learning and collaboration in order to sustain an effective school driven for school improvement. I must trust and pass along leadership responsibilities to others to foster a culture of collaboration and value. And then for my reflection, as a future school leader, it is important to keep school improvement at the forefront of visions and missions, and the start of that comes from building school capacity so that the community can function in high effectiveness so students and teachers can be successful. The weaknesses I would need to improve on the most is working with others in their weaknesses, not to be critical, but as a way to both become more effective in practice through collaboration and through kind of working through it together so we can both become better. And then those are my references. Thank you very much.